Hey everyone, it's Melinda with Tailored and Teal. Welcome back to another What Sold video. If you are new to my channel, I am a part-time online reseller on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay. I do these What Sold videos every 2 weeks on my channel, and in this video, we're going over sales from May 1st through May 15th of 2023. So as always, we are going to start on Mercari, where I had 2 sales and they were both free to me items. The first sale was a lot of books from the 1980s. This was by the author Janet Oakey or Jeanette Oak. I'm not sure. This is how you spell her name. But these books were a 2-in-1 book. So there were actually 2 stories or 2 books in one hardcover book. And they sold for $15, which was an offer sent to me. And they sold within a few weeks of me listing them. And then the second item to sell was a lot of 3 Blink-182 CDs. These were from my heyday back in late high school, early college time. Still had the original cases, the original booklets and everything, and they sold for $9. And they did go through media mail on Mercari, which I'm very happy that they started to offer that media mail shipping rate. So of my 2 sales on Mercari, I had $24 in sales, $4.48 in fees, giving me a profit, and this is a net profit because I paid nothing for these items, was $19.52. And now moving on to Poshmark, where I had 19 sales. The first sale has a little bit of a story to it. So let me go over what it is first. It was a Brighton silver tone Tribeca skinny snake chain belt. This came out of my belt unboxing from shopgoodwill.com. It was not marked Brighton, but when I did a Google image search, and also there's a very small hang tag that is in the shape of a heart, I discovered that it was Brighton. So I listed it around 14 or 15 because there was a little bit of wear to it. A customer purchased it for $10, and that was an offer that they sent to me. I sent it out to them in the mail, and then I got a message from the customer saying, "I'm so sorry, I forgot to change my address. It's currently going to my ex's house, and I'm unable to retrieve it, so you'll probably be getting it back in the mail," which is no problem. That has certainly happened to other customers in the past. Usually I get the item back within a week or so, but the first time the customer purchased this was in the middle of April. And I was expecting like an email or something from Poshmark saying, "Hey, your package is getting returned to you," but none of that happened. And then fast forward about a week and a half later, I get another notification that this same belt had sold for $10. However, I never got the belt back. Poshmark never told me that my earnings weren't going to be released. The order was canceled, which prompted the customer to repurchase it. So what I did, instead of including Poshmark in the chat as an escalation, I actually put a "where's my package" claim or research request into USPS.com. And the post office where the package was sitting actually called me about 2 hours later, which that is the fastest I've ever had a research case resolved. The customer service representative at USPS told me that when the person's name isn't at the address that the package is going to, they will hold it at their post office for 10 business days. And if the customer doesn't come to claim it, they will then return it to the sender. Well, this customer doesn't live anywhere near that address anymore, so I asked the representative to send it back to me, which they did. I got it a few days later. So I canceled the second sale that I didn't actually have the belt because I didn't want my shipping rate to be affected. So when the belt did come in, I told the customer, "If you'd like to purchase it again, it is available. I have it in my possession," and thankfully she did. So long story short, this belt sold 3 times, and I guess the third time was the charm because the customer finally received it and left me positive feedback. But that was a whirlwind for a $10 sale. But we are in the customer service business, so I was happy to help the customer out. And thankfully, the customer was being really understanding and patient as well. Okay, moving on to the second sale. This was a bundle. The first item in the bundle was a new without tags Superga Alpina or Alpina Coat white lace-up high-top sneakers or shoes or shooties, booties, whatever you want to call them. And then a lot of vintage Morton Salt coasters. They sold in a bundle together for $52. I did pay up for these Superga sneakers because they came in a bulk liquidation box, and that's BULQ. So after everything was said and done, I made a little over $13, and the Morton Salt coasters were free to me. The next item was a Talbot's black and gray wool blend paisley embroidered maxi skirt. This was a vintage Talbot's tag, most likely from the 90s or even early 2000s. This thing was so beautiful, and if I wore skirts like that, I probably would have kept it because it fit me just perfectly, but I was happy to pass it along to a new home, and it sold for $36 with discounted shipping. Next up is a pair of Monroe mixed metal leather perforated Jules block heeled mules. These I purchased from ThredUp. I don't think it was from their outlet center. I think it was just a regular sale that they were having, but I'm pretty sure that they listed these as assorted brands. But when I did a Google image search, I saw that they were still for sale on the Nordstrom Rack website. I looked up sold comps. I decided it was worth it. So I did pay up a little bit for these. I paid around $13 and some change, but they sold for $40 and I profited over $18. I did pick these up in 2021, so they did take a little bit longer than what I would have liked, but very happy that they finally did sell. Next up is another free to me item. This was a vintage Munising stamped oval 9-inch wooden bowl. It would have been perfect for a rustic or primitive decor, and it sold for $15, and that was an offer the customer sent to me. Next is a pair of really fun leggings that came out of a ThredUp rescue box. This was the brand Niyama Soul, and they were funny animal themed leggings. I also said that they were like surrealism pop art. These were so much fun because they had a lot of animals on them. They had lots of beautiful bright colors, and they also had funny sayings on them as well. I couldn't really find any comparable sold listings for these, maybe one or two when I first did my original search. So I listed these pretty high. I listed them for $100. I have had them for over a year, but I knew that it would probably take a while for them to sell since they were kind of a rare print. And finally, they sold for $70 with discounted shipping. Next is a bracelet that came from my Via Trading Amazon lot. This was a Remember I Love You Mom bangle cuff bracelet. That's what it said on the inside. It was silver tone and it sold for $12, which was my full asking price. Next up, we have a bundle of 3 American Eagle shirts. These are all shirts I've had since 2019. So earlier this year, I pulled a whole bunch of old items. I decided to lot these all 3 together because they were all the same size and kind of the same style and fit. And they sold in a bundle for $18 with no discounted shipping. Then we have a pair of Cat and Jack girls bootcut medium wash denim jeans. I think these came out of a ThredUp rescue box and they sold for $7 with discounted shipping. Didn't make a lot of money on those, but they also weren't in like the greatest condition. I said that they were in play condition, so if a kid went outside and played in them, it wouldn't really matter because there were some stains and some wear and some holes to them anyway. The next sale was the last of my leaf placeholders that I purchased at an estate sale. These were new with tags, Pottery Barn Falling Leaf Brush Gold place card holders, perfect for entertaining or for a party. I picked up 3 of these and this is finally the last one to sell, and it sold for $14 with no discounted shipping. Next we have a Forever 21 gray faux fur fuzzy gold chain purse. I thought that this would sell a lot faster than it did. I believe that this came from a Helpsy Source or Cozy Threads box, whatever they were at that time. And I thought it was super cute and trendy. It finally did sell. It just took a while and it sold for $12 with no discounted shipping. Next is a lot of vintage magazines. If you've watched my other What Sold videos, you know quite a few of these have already sold. This was April, May, and June of 1946 from Ladies' Home Journal, and they sold for $28 with discounted shipping. Next, we have a lot of 6 curb cable, and twisted chain link belts or necklaces. Some of these came from my belt unboxing from shopgoodwill.com, and some of them were items that I had in craft lots from other jewelry boxes that I didn't really want to list separately, so I put them all together and they sold for $12 with no discounted shipping. The next sale was a bundle. One item was free to me, the other I purchased from Poshmark, but hated the purchase, and I'll explain why. So it was a mini cluster faux pearl rope floral necklace, earrings, and ring set. Again, this was the free to me item. The other item in the bundle was a fossil teal crossbody purse. I purchased this on Poshmark over a year ago. When the purse arrived, it was not in the condition that it was listed, either in the description or the photos. I opened up a case, Poshmark denied the case, and I was stuck with this dirty, dirty purse. I did make a video about it, about my experience, and also how I attempted to clean the purse. I will link that up there. If you haven't watched it, you can go check it out. The bundle sold for $20, but when I enter in my profits and when I go over my numbers, I'm only claiming the jewelry set as profit because the fossil purse was not my fault. I did not purchase it to resell it. I purchased it for personal use, but then never ended up using it for personal use because it was gross and I was just angry about the situation. So just know when I go over my total numbers that I am only claiming this sale as a $10 sale with a $2 fee instead of a $20 sale with a $4 fee. I know that might not be the right thing to do, but I don't really think that the government is going to come after me for $10. Now that I say that on YouTube, maybe they will. But they can watch this video and it'll explain why. All right, so moving on. The next sale was a vintage 1994 Russian Nested Dolls Punch-Out Toy Interactive Book. This sold for $11 and it was a free to me item. The next sale was a Bloom and Give by Camille suede and jacquard cosmetic bag, and it also came with a little dust bag as well. This sold for $14 with no discounted shipping. Next was a ring from my Shop Goodwill ring lot. It was a dichroic glass yellow gold glitter silver tone filigree cocktail ring, and it sold for $7 with no discounted shipping. Next up is another free to me item. Well, technically I did pay for them, but they were for personal use and I purchased them long time ago. They were the complete Dawson's Creek TV series DVD sets. They all had their original inserts and one season wasn't even opened, and they sold all together for $20. And then the last sale was a J. McLaughlin red trellis printed suede double handled tote bag. This tote bag had a little bit of condition issues, especially on the handles. They were pretty worn and cracked. There were very small markings throughout, but still a really good durable purse, and it sold for $35. So of my 19 sales on Poshmark, I had $423 in sales, $91.35 in fees. I gave out $6.06 in shipping discounts, giving me a profit of $325.59. And my average sales price for each item that sold was $22.26. Moving on to eBay, where I had 15 sales. The first sale was a pair of rain boots. These were a designer pair of rain boots from Valentino. They were a nude and black lace print, and they sold for $80, and these came out of my Helpsy boot box, the second one that I did. Then we have some more vintage magazines that sold. These were July, August, and September of 1946 from Ladies Home Journal, and they sold for $24. Next up is a lot of two vintage Raggedy Ann dolls. One was like a mini doll, and then the other one was like a medium-sized doll. I think that they were handmade, but I couldn't really find out too much information on them. There weren't any tags or anything like that. They were in pre-loved condition. Someone really loved these dolls as a kid, and they sold for $8.99. Next up is a new with tags Bagolini Black Wonder Bag Crossbody Convertible Purse. This sold for $31.29, which was my full asking price with my 10% off discount. Next, we have another travel brand. This is Travelon Beige Anti-Theft ruched travel crossbody purse with an adjustable strap, so you could wear it as a shoulder bag or crossbody, and it sold for $15.75. The next sale involved Christmas items. These were a lot of 2 vintage Christmas popcorn art or melted plastic small wreaths. They equaled about 8 inches tall, and they sold for $14.39, which was my full asking price, and these were free to me. Next up, more free to me items because they were my CDs back in the day. This was a lot of 2 Good Charlotte CDs. This was The Young and the Hopeless. And the other CD was just self-titled Good Charlotte. They sold together for $7.19. Next up, we have a vintage Avon twisted genuine rice pearls and gold tone beaded necklace. This sold within a few days of me listing it. I received an offer for $10. It was a free to me item, so I accepted. Another lot of CDs sold. This was from Eminem, and it was the Eminem Show, Encore, and the Marshall Mathers LP, and they sold together for $8.75. Next, we have an Urban Outfitters cropped moto jacket. It had an Aztec boho Southwest print. The customer and I went back and forth on a price, and finally we ended up on $20. Next up is a vintage brooch. This had ruby red and clear rhinestones. It was kind of in the shape of a pinwheel, and it sold for $7.75. Then we have a pair of earrings that sold in 2 hours. I was quite surprised, to be honest with you. It was a vintage pair of screwback earrings. They were a 10K yellow gold heart faux moonstone earrings. I also included the keywords fantasy and fairy core. I have no idea if fairy core is a thing in fashion these days. I honestly just kind of came up with the word, but it seemed to work, and they sold for my full asking price of $29.99. And they were a free to me item. Next is a Chico's light wash embellished button front denim jacket. This was a size 2 or a size large in Chico's vanity sizing, and it sold for $16.20. Next up, we have a belt from my belt unboxing that I honestly didn't think would ever sell because it's super, super thin. It is a Humanity for All brown leather, super skinny, thin belt. It had all these like cool inspirational quotes all over it, and someone purchased it for $8.99, which was my full asking price. And then the last item to sell on eBay was another lot of Dawson's Creek items, except these were CDs. Can you tell that Dawson's Creek was one of my favorite shows back in the day? So this was from volume 1 and 2 of the TV series, and they sold together for $7. So of my 15 eBay sales, I had $290.29 in fees. I made a shipping profit of $30.58. Fees this time was $72.54, giving me a profit of $248.33. And my average sales price for each item that sold was $19.35. And now to my totals, where I had 36 sales from May 1st through May 15th of 2023. I had $737.29 in sales. There was $143.85 in fees. My cost of goods this time was $127.31, giving me a profit of $466.13. And my average sales price for each item that sold was $3.54. And I have all of those free to me items that sold to thank for that. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this What Sold video. I truly appreciate you being here. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.